Hello, welcome to another edition of Toddlers to Teens TV show. My name is Fee Taylor and today I'm going to talk a little bit about body image issues in teens. During January of this year I've been able to spend some time with groups of teenagers doing workshops and talking to them about the current issues, and it's actually quite surprising, so I just want to touch on this today. In preparing for the workshops, I had to go back and think what it was like for me as a teenager, going back to 13, 14 and 15. Lots of friendship group changes, peer pressure, lots of catty and bitchy behaviour from the girls, fights and punch-ups with the boys. But then there's the whole puberty issue. You're feeling awkward, your body is changing, you start getting pimples and acne. Weight gain where you've never had it before, your bodies are developing, and for the guys the voice is changing. So there's a lot of issues going on at this particular age, and at the same time you're meant to be able to pick up your concentration levels for higher education and secondary education, where the workload is a lot more intense, and in my experience as a mother of 14-year-old, certainly a lot more intense than it was when I was at school. This all leads to confidence issues as well. Our kids are going through so much, and on top of it we expect them to be confident, and most of the time their self-esteem is so low that they are susceptible to cyberbullying and what have you, and we'll talk about that as well. Because whilst our children are going through pretty much the same that we went through, they've also got the added pressures of social media, cyberbullying, and celebrities, which seem to be far more in your face, I guess, than they were when I was a teenager. And also the fact that these celebrities are being photoshopped, the body image issues there, they have more liposuction and plastic surgery certainly than they were when I was a teenager, and that's putting pressure on kids, making them think that this is what they should look like when really it's completely fake. Dieting is still a big issue with teenagers, but more so they are leading more sedentary lifestyles than we used to. They're spending more time in front of the Xbox, the PlayStation, they're on their computers, they are on their iPhones or iPods playing games or listening to music, and they're just not out and about as much as our generation was. The media does put a lot of expectations on body image, and here I'm particularly referring to the girls. You only have to pick up magazine, Dolly or Girlfriend or Who magazine, just to see exactly the sorts of images that are being presented to our girls, and this is actually putting a lot of pressure on them. We've also got TV shows, and shows like Biggest Loser, which is concentrating on losing weight and being the best you can be, which does send a good message, except for when these kids are taking it to extremes. In going through a number of magazines in preparation for my workshops, these are the sorts of diets that I came across in a variety of publications. Basically, our kids are being bombarded with information about diets, what works and what doesn't, particularly in regard to celebrity diets. They have so much influence over kids, and they're saying eat this or don't eat that, and a lot of young children and girls mainly are following that advice. It's also interesting to see the number of boys who are taking the protein shakes and trying to build up their muscles as well. Not that there's anything wrong with that, as long as it's done under supervision and the protein intake is counted. Also touched on detox, because our teenagers do not need to detox. This is something that happens later in life, if it has to happen, but basically our body will detox itself of any toxins as long as we put the right fuel in there for it. When you've got some time, take note of these YouTube makeovers of Photoshop, because they're actually quite interesting and just give you a bit of an idea of what's going on out there in the media. There are many. You can just Google on YouTube or go through YouTube and do a search on Photoshop makeovers, but these are three of my, I wouldn't say favourite, but the ones that I found most interesting. Food. We need to get our kids back to basics. We need to reduce the processed foods that our children are eating, the junk food, the tuck shop, the canteen. Get them back to their fruit, veg, meat, grains and nuts, and food that looks like it comes from the ground, closely resembling what it actually should resemble. And most importantly, our kids need to have a good relationship with food, because relationships with food is basically what causes obesity. In many cases, it has been proven that people who are going through depression or they're anxious will start eating, and generally all the wrong sorts of foods. So having a good relationship with food and knowing that it's there only for a fuel source, and making your food enjoyable and not being using it as an outlet for depression. We also have to get our kids drinking a lot more water. I touched earlier on the sedentary lifestyle choices that our kids are making, so we need to once again get up and make sure that they're doing their 30 minutes a day. Get them to walk or ride to school, or maybe choosing a family activity to make sure you're all getting your 30 minutes. And if you skip a day, you skip a day. But in general, more activity means more endorphins pumping through your body, which means better moods, better concentration. I have touched previously on portion sizes, and you can find this video amongst the Toddlers to Teens library. But if you'd like some more information on portion sizes, please see a dietitian or a nutritionist in your area, or if you want to email me, contact me through my website. I'm more than happy to assist you in your questions. In summary, try to remember your own experiences as a teenager. They're not going to be a lot different to what your teens are going through, except that they now have those added pressures that I spoke about earlier. Communication is so important, so really listen to what your teen is saying, and I mean really, really listen. Talk to them about self-confidence, engage how they are coping with all the pressures that are around them, and also talk to them about mutual respect and keeping the communication between you open. For more information, please feel free to contact me. This is my email address, or you can go to my website for more information also. And I hope you've enjoyed this presentation, and I look forward to bringing you some more in the coming weeks.